So, wanted to give my little thoughts on the situation that's going on with Cody Rhodes. I honestly, when I went on YouTube, I saw a suggested video for that one, and I was like, wait, what the fuck? This can't be real. It has to be some type of bullshit story. And then I see that Wrestle Talk reported on it, and I'm like, wait a second, I trust these guys. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch that video later, but I have to give my thoughts on this, because I went through Twitter to check some status, and all I see is a bunch of stuff for Cody Rhodes, and I'm like, what? And AEW puts out a statement as well, too, thanking Cody and Brandi Rhodes, which makes no sense. Brandi was just on TV just about 2 or 3 weeks ago, doing something with Paige Van Zandt. If I said her name wrong, I apologize. But they were doing something, and then all of a sudden, now her and Cody are gone. What the fuck does that matter? I don't get it. I really don't get it. So here's my thoughts on this one. I really hope I'm getting worked here, because after all the stuff that Cody has said about this is a revolution, this is where guys want to come to get the best opportunities, and all sorts of fun little jazz words like that, and then if he just honestly ups and leaves and goes to WWE, of all places, where A, you don't know if you're getting fired. B, you don't know what segment's going to go on. C, there's a lot of backstage politicking going on. And not to say that doesn't happen in AEW. It probably does sometimes. D, you don't know, like people are just getting pissed off and aggravated backstage. E, you don't know how long the company's going to be there, if it's going to get sold or not. There's so much bullshit going on in WWE that people in backstage are getting pissed off. They are getting confused. And then Triple H's baby NXT absolutely turned upside down, and shit's just backwards there. You know, they got rid of everyone. Why would you go to a place like that when you had the golden shovel, which is I guess a pun, because Cody took out the golden shovel against Andrade in their street fight match? Why would you leave a place like AEW, where you had a world championship opportunity, which, if you wanted to become a heel and reverse the decision that you made upon yourself to never challenge for the world title again, guess what? As an EVP, you can do that. Because we were waiting for that. We were waiting for that to happen, Cody. We were waiting for you to challenge for that world title and just get rid of that situation. You've had multiple multiple TNT championship runs. Some of your kids, not like your students, I like to call them kids, because you kind of get close to them as students, that they work for the company. Your brother is still in AEW. After everything that's happened, you get all of that, and you get your own you get your own show on TNT, which of course I know that that was TNT that made that happen, and maybe Cody didn't want that, but you get your own television show, and then you get the Go Big show. You think WWE is gonna want you to still stick around with that? Is that what you want? I mean, are you kidding me? I really hope we're getting worked here, because this is some. Honestly, if he needs to take a mental health break, or if he has some injuries that are nagging him, that he just says, I can't be here right now, fine, take the break, whatever. But if you leave to go back to WWE, what the fuck, man? What the fuck? That pisses me off as a fan of Cody Rhodes. That's bullshit. I swear to God, I hope you don't do that, Cody. That's fucked up, and you will lose respect from me. Is it because that I'm not even gonna make any assumptions here if he does that as to why he would do that. That's not for me to say, and I don't want to say something that's gonna sound disrespectful. But I'm kind of pissed off at this. I'm just really hoping that we're getting worked here, or that Cody Rhodes just needs a mental health break, and he's just not ready to come back to work, because I'm pretty sure that the fans booing him really made him upset. Maybe that made him upset, and he's like, I just don't get it. I don't have the passion for this right now when the fans just keep doing this to me. I don't know what else I can do. I get that, but you gotta suck it up, Buttercup. It's not like it's the first time you've been, put on, that you've been booed before, but I understand that you try your hard work here, and sometimes fans just still boo you, and it doesn't make sense to me, but, I don't know. I'm just really furious about the possibility that Cody Rhodes could actually go back to WWE. What the fuck did they ever do for you? Huh? They gave you multiple Intercontinental Championships. Hey, guess what? So does everyone. So do a lot of people. And guess what? How do those Intercontinental Championships look right now? Nobody even knows who's the Intercontinental Champion anymore. We all forgot that Shinsuke Nakamura was the Intercontinental Champion. And then I think Sami Zayn just won it. Whoop-de-doo. I mean, who really cares? I don't even know who the United States Championship is anymore. I think it's still Damian Priest. I don't really watch the product anymore. And if Cody Rhodes goes there, guess what? I'm still not going to watch the product because you know why? Because most of it is shit. What did they give Cody Rhodes? They gave him, a couple tag team title reigns? Is that what you want, Cody? You want to be a world champion? Are you Roman Reigns? No, I don't think so. I mean, do you really think that you're going to beat Bobby Lashley if you go there? If that's what Cody would do? Not happening, dog. You're not in the category of who they want. Not in the big-time category of young players anymore and big, beefy boys. You're not there. So I really hope that we're getting worked here and that this is all just some part of storyline, but I really don't think it is. Because what story does Cody Rhodes have? I mean, maybe they could do something to come out of nowhere that Cody comes back as a heel or something. I don't know. But this is just, it's awkward, man. And I'm really hoping that Cody just doesn't go back to WWE because where do you fit in there? Where do you fit? You don't. You just be back in the mid-card level. That's my honest opinion. You would either be the main event guy who gets beaten because you're not Roman Reigns. You're not taking the title off Roman Reigns. And you're not the size of Drew McIntyre. So why would Vince McMahon want to push you? It's different. Drew McIntyre, when he came back, yeah, Drew was a different kind of wrestler. But he was also bigger, muscular. You still look the same as you did when you were in WWE, Cody, except you got blonde hair. I wish I had water. So, I'm not saying that Cody's going back to WWE. I'm really hoping that he's not, because as you can tell of my frustration, that would piss me off. As a fan of Cody Rhodes and a fan of AEW, after all the times that he would go after the show, like, this is the place to be. This is who everyone wants to come to. We beat these guys, yada, yada, yada. This is our family, you and I. We're all in this together. Stuff like that. And then, you know what? Life is rough right now, guys. I'm getting booed. I'm just going to leave. I'm going to go back to WWE, the place that... just frustrating. It would be frustrating if that were to happen. So, yeah. That's my thoughts on this whole situation. I'm really, really hoping it's a fucking work. And that we're all just falling for it. I'm hoping there's a bigger story here. That Cody will come back. But I don't want to see you in WWE, man. Because I'm telling you, nobody's going to make me watch WWE again. I mean, the only way that I was possibly going to watch that is if Corey Graves came back in wrestling, and yet they still put him on, they still have him on commentary. I really have no interest in watching, WWE. There really isn't anything out there for me to have interest for it. I'll check out some clips here and there and I'll read the news. The only way that I keep up with WWE is by watching the 5 minutes that, Wrestle Talk provides with the reviews. That's it. Other than that, I'm watching my AEW. You know, I want to, get more product out there that I'm watching, like maybe New Japan. I want to do better about that, but, I get so busy in the day that all I have time for at the end of the day is AEW. Because it's kind of a system thing, But just don't make the decision of going back there, Cody. Come on. What did they do for you? Look at what they're doing now. They're firing people left and right. They're getting rid of people that are good. Samoa Joe, William Regal. There's a whole bunch of list of names out there that you and I know. They just brought in Keith Lee to AEW. They got rid of him in WWE. Karrion Kross, Killer Kross, whatever you want to call him. I really liked him. I knew nothing about him. I just saw one entrance of the guy, and I'm like, dude, this guy's fucking cool. Then I check out some stuff about him, and I'm like, man, this guy's really fucking cool. And then they ruin him on WWE, and then they just get rid of him. So, fucking, don't go there. Don't go there, Cody. Please, just take a break with your family if that's what you need. I don't know. But this is going like that cannot be the answer for you. The answer cannot be WWE. And I sound like I'm just hating on WWE so much, but I mean, come on, guys. How many times have you and I tried to give them, the benefit of the doubt and try to, give them second, third chances to improve, and that they still do stupid stuff sometimes that makes you feel like a fucking idiot for watching, or makes you feel like you're too old for this. And when you watch a product like AEW, you feel a little bit more enthusiastic to see some of the stuff that they do. There are some segments that are like, that could have been better. Of course there are. But 9 times out of 10, you at least watch the show and you're like, you know what? The show was pretty good. That was a pretty good show. Was it a banger? No. Not every week has to be the best fucking show in the world. But it at least was a show that you're like, there was more good than negative. So it's just, think about that. Which product would you rather watch more? WWE, yes, they're more known. But, would you rather watch the product that is, literally tearing your pro wrestling heart out? Or would you rather watch the product of AEW that, has some good segments, doesn't always have the best in the world segments, but they have some good segments, and they're making new stars. And anyone who says they're not, there's plenty of guys out there. Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin, Britt Baker. I can make a list, but I don't want to be rambling. But seriously, again, Cody, think about this, man. Please tell me WWE is not the goal. And seriously, I will keep this up here. And I will gladly make fun of myself for getting worked here, okay? I'm a fan of Cody Rhodes, and I just don't want to see him go back to WWE because I won't watch him. I will not watch you if you go there. I do not care. I will listen to the reviews of podcasts and stuff about the news of what Cody Rhodes is doing, if he's in WWE, if he goes to WWE. But other than that, I'm not going to watch you. I will not. It's just, I won't. It's just because I get tired of devoting 3 hours of my life to Monday Night Raw. I get tired of devoting 2 hours of my life to SmackDown, which sometimes is okay, but then there's other times where it's just fucking annoying that, nothing really happens. The only good part about SmackDown is Roman Reigns. Other than that, nothing much else. So it's infuriating to me as a fan of Cody Rhodes that if this is a possibility of him going back to WWE, it's just, come on, man. After everything that you talked about with AEW, about this being a revolution, we're all in this together, all this stuff, and I'm not going to say that everything he did for Brody Lee Jr. It gets thrown away, because absolutely not. They're still friends, and it's still a family thing, and, there's still so much positivity between the Huber family and, the Rhodes family. It's upsetting to me that someone could say all those words, and at the end of the day, if they just went back to WWE. It's like, you found a place that, in my eyes, as a pro wrestling fan and an aspiring pro wrestler, that is the land of the gold. I don't have any analogy or whatever word it is I'm looking for to say. That's pretty much looked at as like heaven for pro wrestlers, out there. Or, GCW is getting up there too. That's looking like a great place to go as well. But it would just be like an ultimate heel turn. I went back on my word and I went back to WWE. Everything I said was a lie over there in that other place. Really wish again I had some more water. All my stuff is ice cold. It was like freezed up with ice. But I don't know, man. I'm gonna end this video before I start rambling on too much. It's just, I really hope I'm getting worked here. I really hope we're all getting worked here, and that this is just a bigger story to come in months later, maybe even next year. I don't know, but it's just, there's no reason for Cody Rhodes to go back to WWE, man. I mean, tell me, realistically, what would you see Vince, not you, what would you see Vince McMahon actually doing with Cody Rhodes? I think he's too big to do Stardust now. That's over and done with. That's not someone honking at me, just so you know. He's too big to be doing the Stardust gimmick. But what would you think Vince McMahon will be doing with him? You think about that. Not what you would do if you were in charge as a booker, but what would Vince McMahon do? Think about that. Again, especially with how Vince McMahon has been backstage of lately. Tearing up every script pretty much every single week, where it's nothing but comment that Vince just keeps tearing things up, changes his mind at the last second. Wrestlers are upset. Wrestlers are stressed. They don't know what's going on as to what segment, what time. All this stuff keeps changing and changing. And so, what do you think Vince McMahon would do with Cody Rhodes? You think he would treat him the way that us fans of Cody Rhodes would want? Would you see Vince McMahon putting Cody Rhodes in the world title picture? Maybe. But would Cody Rhodes win the world title? I doubt that. Because he's not Roman Reigns. And he's not muscular. He's not like the big 6'5", 6'10", built up muscular body. No, he's Cody Rhodes. A great pro wrestler and a great talker. Frustrated, man. So I'm really hoping that Cody Rhodes just needs a break from pro wrestling, or B, he is just, stressed out and needs a break from pro wrestling. I guess that works in the same type of category as the last thing I spoke of. But I'm really hoping that this is just a work, and that eventually Cody Rhodes will be back in the AEW wrestling ring. He doesn't even have to be wrestling. I mean, if he doesn't want to wrestle anymore, he can retire. That's totally up to Cody Rhodes. But don't go back to WWE. Don't do it. Okay? That would be insulting to me. I feel like it would be insulting to the fans of AEW and the fans that supported Cody Rhodes, who were like, yeah, you were mistreated in WWE, and you went and found something better, and you created this alternative project with the Young Bucks, with Kenny Omega, and Tony Khan, and brought in other wrestlers. John Moxley. I believe Cody Rhodes was the one who brought John Moxley over to AEW, or he was one of the main guys that convinced Moxley to go there. There's others there, too, that Cody Rhodes probably brought in. Ricky Starks. I know Ricky's one of them, I think. I think Sammy Guevara as well, too. There's wrestlers out there that Cody Rhodes brought into AEW that are thriving. So it's like, if you're done wrestling, stay in the company that you can help out more. If you go to WWE, and even if you don't want to wrestle, if you go there just as like a producer or a coach, guess what, pal? Who are you going to help? Vince McMahon controls the whole fucking show. You know, yeah, Tony Khan, at the end of the day in AEW, he gets to decide what the story is and how things go. But from my understanding, from what I've heard, he's willing to listen to stories. He's willing to listen to the fans. He's willing to listen to the wrestlers. More opportunities in AEW. So I don't want to speculate anymore about what Cody Rhodes is going to be doing with his career, because that's not for me to say. That's not for me to speculate. At this point, when I do a video like this for too long, I start thinking of other things to say before I shut the hell up. So again, I'm gonna shut up because I want to stop. You don't need a 30-minute video from me on this, but Cody Rhodes, do not go back to WWE. I'm really hoping you don't, man. Because there's nothing that you need from there. Oh, god damn it. Anyways, guys, that's it for the video here. Make sure to cough and drop the like button, hit the subscribe button, and make sure to leave a comment down below about, whatever. Cody Rhodes, and I'm sorry I didn't have much to say about Brandi, but what would Brandi Rhodes do? She wants to wrestle. You think Vince McMahon wants to see her wrestle? I don't know. Maybe he would just say, "Oh wait, weren't you that the girl who did the thing with the talking, the announcing, right? I could put you on NXT, right?" Yes, Vince, I guess. All right, cool. We'll have fun. Maybe she'd wrestle. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't really know much about Brandi that really gets me excited. I want to see her wrestle because I don't really know much about her wrestling ability, but I know she wants to wrestle, so I like to give girls an opportunity. I like to give all wrestlers an opportunity. You love to wrestle? Go wrestle. So, again, I'm sorry. I'm going to stop talking now. That's all I got to say about the situation. So, anyways, guys, you have a great rest of your day. Yeah. Peace.